rows here. I am finally ready to do this, I believe. We're gonna do Pac-Man. Wonka, wonka, wonka. Is that a sound? Alrighty, so what we're gonna need is we're gonna do the G-hook 4.0 millimeter. You'll need a pair of scissors, of course your tapestry needle. The stitch marker is optional, and then we're going to need a variety of colors. Excuse me, I have a different setup, so I don't know how it's going to work out, but so I got some yellow, which is Red Heart Super Saver for Pac-Man, and I'm going to be, this is some of my scraps from that bin. This is just Red Heart Super Saver, Royal Blue. This is actually impeccable in the gold, but Red Heart has it in gold also. And then this is like some minty green. It's basically like a minty green, but this is actually, oh, mist green. So I need that. And this is that big twist in the light rose. So I believe that's all the colors. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And of course we'll need some black. Some black for his mouth. We'll also need some polyfill. And the googly eyes, I had these all in a jar, so I'm not quite sure what size they are, but I did measure them out. For Pac-Man, for his eyeballs, they're about a 1/2 inch or 1.5 centimeters. Is how big those are. So 1/2 inch or 1.5 centimeters. And for the little ghost, I liked that size, and it measured 1 centimeter or a 1/2 inch. So I'm sorry I don't have the packaging. Some of these I've found at the thrift stores, and I ended up just throwing them all in a jar. And I'll have this down in the notes below, just so you have it. And let's see what else. You also need your hot glue gun. Mine's plugged in over there, so I'm not going to bring it over here. But you could probably use any glue. And real quick, I'm going to be doing this in the round. I like that. Ooh, that looks creepy, doesn't it? I'm going to do it in the round, so it's like one piece. I did do it in 2 pieces and sewed it together, and I didn't like that line. So this one doesn't even get eyeballs, because I'll probably take him apart. But you can do it that way if you wanted to. All right. So today I'm going to do the ghost in the pink, and that's what we're going to start with. So get your supplies, and I will meet you right back here. Okie dokie. All right, so we're going to start with the ghost. I'm going to start from the top down. And you can do this one of 2 ways. You can do the magic circle, which is how I'm going to do it. Or you could do a chain 3, and then we can slip stitch that one. 1, 2, 3. And then you can slip stitch it to join, and then do all your stitches in there. Whichever is going to be easier. So, magic circle time. Okay. Lock that. And what we're going to start with is 9 single crochets in our circle. 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9. We are not going to join. We're going to be working in the rounds. So this next one, go ahead and put 2 single crochets in that first stitch. 1, 2. Now this would be a good time if you want to go ahead and mark your spot. Okay, but we're going from 9 single crochets to 12. So that was 1 and 2. Then we do a single crochet in the next, and then a single crochet in the next. That is 4 single crochets. Now we're going to do an increase in the next. 1, 2, and then followed by 2 single crochets. 3, 4. Now our last set, we're going to do an increase right here. 1 and 2, followed by 1 single crochet, and then a single crochet in the last. You can count your stitches, make sure you have 12. And now we're going to go from 12 to 15. So we're going to do an increase here in that first stitch, be 2 single crochets in there. You can mark your spot, followed by 3 single crochets in the next 3 stitches. So we're going to do 1, 2, 3. So that's 5 single crochets so far. Now we're going to do another increase. 1 and 2, followed by 3 single crochets. Be 3, 4, and 5. So that's 10 so far. We're going up to 15. You guessed it. Last increase, 1 and 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. Alrighty guys, I'm back. Hopefully you can see me okay. I had to move because I was literally having to turn my head like in a 360. So, all right. So here we are. We have 15 single crochets. And I can see myself again. And now we're going to do 3 rows of 15 single crochets. So let's do our first one. I'm going to go ahead and tag that just for the tutorial. And then that's what we're doing. This is row 4. And we're just going to do 1 single crochet all the way around for 3 rows. And let's see here. It's going to start curling on us, and that's just what we want. All right, so this is the end of row 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and do 2 more rows, and I will meet you right back here. Alrighty, we just finished round 6. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we're starting row 7, and we're going to be working. We have this front loop here, and you have this back loop. You guys are probably already familiar, but just in case, front loop and then that back loop. And we're going to be working in this front loop all the way around. Let's see. All right, so we're going to do, in this first stitch, we're going to do a single crochet, half double crochet in the same stitch, and then a single crochet still in there. So there are 3 stitches in that first loop. And then in the next one, you're going to do a slip stitch. And then we get this little bit here. And that's what we are going to repeat all the way around. Let's do another one together. It's going to be a single crochet, half double crochet, and then a single crochet, all in that loop. The next loop is a slip stitch. So we got two little petals here. Next one, single crochet, half double crochet, single crochet. Next stitch, slip stitch. Alrighty, so you do this all the way around, and I will meet you there in just a second. When you get back, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 petals. And you'll notice there'll be one little stitch here left, and that's fine. We're just going to slip stitch into that one as well. So the last 2 stitches, we're doing a slip stitch. And then, since we did that in the front loop, we've got all these loops here in the back. And that's where we're going to be working to start closing this down. And I want to point it out because it does want to hide. So we slip stitched into that last stitch in the front loop. Its back loop wants to hide. Okay. So we have 15. Make sure you have 15 hoops. And we're going to start, when we put that first petal down, we're going to be starting right here. But 15 is hiding over here. These last 2 that we slip stitched into, these are those back loops. So just, I wanted you to get your eyeballs on it because I almost lost it just now. I didn't see it when I was trying to count. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull down that first petal, and we're going to be doing a single crochet decrease, single crochet, single crochet decrease, single crochet, and we're going to be doing that all the way around. So we're going to go in here, we're going to pick up a loop, we're going to go directly next door, pick up a loop, yarn over, 1, 2, yarn over, 1, 2. This next stitch, we're going to just do a single crochet. This next stitch, we're going to do a decrease. Pull up a loop, go next door, pull up a loop, 3 loops, 1, 2, 1, 2, single crochet. Okay, let's do one more together. We're going to go next door, pick up a loop, go next door, pick up a loop, got 3 loops, 1, 2, 1, 2, single crochet. All right, so I'm going to do a couple more and then I'll meet you when we get to the end here, which I'm already there. Didn't realize. All right, so we've got that single crochet. We're going to do another decrease. These like to hide. I mean, they're like hiding from me, but I know they're there. 2. And we end with a, if I can get to it. And if nothing else, if you can't find it, like I can't see it right now, I'm just going to pick up something just to finish it off. Ah, there it is. Okay. So what we got here? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I've got 10 single crochets, but we're just closing this up. So if you've got 9 or 11 or whatever, it doesn't matter, because now what we're going to do is we're just going to stuff it, and then we're going to cut our yarn and then sew it in. So it's not going to be a deal breaker if your stitches are off on this, because those two really, they are mischievous, those last 2 stitches. And let's see, just gonna stuff it. Okay, I'll go ahead and cut probably about 10 inches here. And I'm just going to slip stitch to the next stitch, chain 1, pull that out. I got a little bit left here. Let's just cram it in there. It's going to be a chubby ghost. All right, so now go ahead and get your tapestry needle. And I'm just going to pick up the front loops. I found that I like doing this way. It seems to make it a little bit more flat. And I'm not pulling it taut just yet. Okay. And then I'm just going to pick up a couple of stitches. You guys know how to, I'm sure you guys know how to close it up. I'm gonna just poke it through. And even though it's got this little divot here, I don't mind. Probably could have slip stitched over and then gone down, but I don't mind it at all. Gives it character. All right, there's that. So let me go get his eyeballs. I'll be right back. All right, got his eyeball. And I'm gonna go either 2 rows up or 4 rows down. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. So between row 4 and 5, I'm just gonna go boop. And then I'm gonna do 2 stitches apart. So 1 and 2, and then I'm gonna stick the other one right here. My glue gun's down here, so excuse me for a second. Of course, you can put these as far or as close together as you want. It's adorable. There. You could even use felt if you want. And before we move on to Pac-Man, I wanted to tell you that as far as the ghost goes, what I did is I took the googly eyes and I glued them upside down. So it gives them that look. Because I don't want to like mess with felt or anything like that. Matter of fact, the first set I did, it's funny, I like chewed off the top and whatever, and that's just silliness. So yeah, you can do the ghost, just glue them backwards, upside down. So, okay, all right, Pac-Man time. Okie dokie. So for Pac-Man, we're going to start at the top and we're going to start working our way down. Now with him, start with a magic circle, or you can do a chain 3, 6 single crochets around, slip stitch to join, and then do your 6 single crochets around. There we go. Let's do 6 single crochets in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Also for Pac-Man, we're not joining, so you can keep your stitch marker handy if you need it. So we have 6 single crochets. Now we're going to do an increase in each one, and we're going to go to 12. So 2 single crochets in each one all the way around. Go 1, 2. I've got a wobbly thing here. It's 4, 5, and 6. Now we're going to go from 12 to 18. So it's going to be an increase, 2 single crochets in the first stitch, 1 single crochet, 2 single crochets, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. I like to just count up to 18 once I know how many stitches I need. So there's 1 and 2, next stitch 3, 4 and 5, next stitch 6, 7 and 8, 9. And I'll meet you when you get to the 18th mark. And here's 18. This is our last row of increases. We're going to go from 18 to 24. So it's going to be an increase in the first two. an increase in the first stitch. So 1 and 2 be 3, 4. So it'll be an increase followed by single crochet, increase, single crochet, and we're just going to count up to 24. So there's 1 and 2. I like to do that. I like to call it like 1 and 2. That way I know in my mind that when I hear myself say and, that I know it's an increase. So there's 1 and 2, 3, 4. Next one, increase. 5 and 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10, 11, 12. And then you just do that all the way around until you get to 24. Increase, followed by a single crochet, followed by a single crochet. And I'll meet you there in just a jiffy.
And just to be sure, I'm going to count, make sure I'm okay. 24.
All right, so now that we've got the size that we want, we're just going to grow it a little bit vertical. So we're going to do 2 rows of 24 single crochets. So let's go ahead and do 1, and then you can go ahead and put your stitch marker if you want, and do 2 rows of single crochets. Meet you right back here. All right, so this is what we've got. So now what we're going to do is we're going to start the mouth. So from this chain, and actually if you want, go ahead before we start doing anything, on this 24th stitch, go ahead and put your stitch marker in there so you know where you're at. Now what we're going to do is we're going to chain 12. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And this 12 is going to take the place of 12 stitches. So this is where we are at. We came coming out of there. So this next stitch will be number 1. So it'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And we're going to do a single crochet join in number 13. Okay, so we're going to put our hook in there. We're going to pull up a loop. We're going to yarn over, and that is a single crochet join. Okay, so that was number 13. Now we're just going to finish our count to 24. That was 13. So now let's do, this is number 14. Next is 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, and then there's our 24th stitch. Okay, so we have 12 chains and then 12 single crochets that's already on there. So now what we're going to do is, you can put your stitch marker back there in number 24. Don't have to. I usually can tell just from where I am, but just for the tutorial, I'm going to go ahead and do it. So now what we're going to do is in these chains, in these top loops in this chain, we're going to do single crochets all across. So this is 1, next 1, 2, and I'll meet you when we get to getting close to the end of this one. There's 3, so we 1, 2, 3, 4, 11, and 12 likes to hide. But you see all these crisscrosses here. I'm going to just go in that top loop there. Even if for some reason your count is off, because I don't know which one it was, because it doesn't really matter. I either didn't chain enough or whatever, add another single crochet. So there's 12. And then this is where we joined. So this right here was number 13. That was that single crochet join that we did. And that's what we're going to go into. This was number 13. And we're going to do a single crochet. So there's 13. And then we're just going to finish single crocheting to 24. Okay, and I'll meet you there. That's 14. Looking good, looking good. Now we're going to start our decrease. Just as we increased, we're going to decrease the same way. So I'm going to do the invisible decrease because it leaves less holes. So this is, I'm going to go in that front loop, go down and scoop up the next loop, yarn over, pull through those 2, yarn over, pull through those 2. And we're going to be going from a count of 24 back down to 18. So we did a decrease in those 2, and then we're going to follow it by a single crochet, single crochet. Okay. Side note, but my back is kind of tight because we just got a rower for my husband, and I was out there like a fool, going on there too long and too hard. All right, the next 2, we're going to do the invisible decrease, scoop up that, scoop up the next, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through. The next 2 single crochets. 1 and the second one. Next 2, invisible decrease. Scoop up under there, scoop up under there, yarn over, 2, yarn over, 2. 2 single crochets. Okay. I'm going to leave you guys to do that, and then I will meet you back at the end of this row, and we should have a count of 18. Just try to make sure you have 18. All right. All right, here we go. I've got 18 single crochets, and now we're going to go from 18 down to 12. So what that's going to look like is we're going to do an invisible decrease, the first 2 stitches, scoop, scoop, yarn over, 2, yarn over, 2, followed by 1 single crochet in the next stitch. And that's the pattern for this one. We're going to do an invisible decrease, 1 and 2, yarn over, 2, yarn over, 2, followed by a single crochet. Invisible decrease for the next 2 stitches, yarn over, 2, yarn over, 2, followed by a single crochet. All right, so I'm going to leave you to do that. Invisible decrease, followed by 1 single crochet. And at the end of this round, we're going to have 12 single crochets. 12 single crochets. And what we're going to do is we're going to do a decrease all the way around down to 6. So there's 1 and 2. 1, 2, 1, 2. And just do that all the way around. And we'll have 6 single crochets at the end of this one. And that's it on this. So now what you can do is go ahead, and I'm going to go in this front loop, and then I'm going to slip stitch, chain 1, and then I'm going to just cut about 6-8 inches. And then we're going to go ahead and close this up, and I'm going to do it the same way as I did with the ghost. I'm going to just go in that front loop. Just go in that front loop. Oh, geez. I have this, I was using a different system, but I'm having a hard time getting the angle right. And so I have this other thing, and it's like this, well, obviously you can tell because anytime I like barely hit it, it just like earthquake central. But I can like see the phone and I can see the TV a lot better. So I'm just going to try to be careful and mindful of what I'm doing. So I just did the front loop all the way around. And then I'm just going to pick up a loop, and I'm just going to catch my thumb and then slip it through. I'm going to poke it down in there. And then cut it off a little bit. It does leave that little bump bit, but which is why a lot of times I end up putting that one on the bottom, because I usually like the way that looks. But it can really go either way. I guess it just depends on what the mouth, when the mouth gets sewn on, how it looks. So let's get started on that. I was grabbing my black, but I know you won't be able to see me, so we're gonna do this. And what we're doing with this one, pretend like this is black, is we're just making a circle. So we're not gonna be making a bowl or anything like that. So we're gonna start with the magic circle, and we're gonna start with 6 single crochets in our magic circle. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And again, the theme of today's video is we're not joining anything. So we got 6, and now we're going to do the increase. 2 single crochets in each stitch around and have 12 single crochets at the end. So I'll see you here at the end of this one. 2 single crochets in each stitch equals 12. All right, 12 single crochets. Now we're going to go from 12 to 18, and that is the increase. 2 single crochets in the first stitch, followed by 1 single crochet. 2 single crochets, 1. So it'll be a 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. You can just count up to 18. Just make sure you have 18 single crochets. So since we've done this with the Pac-Man, I'm not going to dawdle on it too long. And I will see you at the end of this one. And for our last round, you already know, 18, we're going to go to 24. So it'll be 2 single crochets in the first, followed by 1 single crochet, 1 single crochet, 2 single crochets, 1 single crochet, 1 single crochet. And I'll meet you at the end of this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 24. So now all you need to do is slip stitch to the next, and I want you to leave about 2 feet of yarn because we're going to sew this, whoops, to Pac-Man's mouth. And you can weave that in now or just leave it. I'm going to just weave it in and get it out of my way. And then I will meet you back here in just a second. Get Pac-Man's mouth going. All right, before we do that last bit, I wanted to show you this other option. On this one, I did it on this one, and I didn't do it on this one. Whoops. So I want to show you, and you might be able to tell now, this one seems a little bit more formed, and this one is a free-for-all. He just is whatever. You have to like really manhandle him. So I want to at least show this to you in case you want to do it before you sew on your mouth. And we've done our 24 single crochets, and we're going to slip stitch, chain 1. Now what we're going to do is we're going to fold it right sides together, fold it in half as even as you can. I'm going to turn it down. And what you're going to do is you're basically going to single crochet all the way across. All these holes here, that's what we're going in. So we're going to do this single crochet. And then we're going to go next door. Single crochet. I'm going to go down here. There's really not, I mean, as long as you're just trying to do some kind of line, like I'm in that mat where we started, and I can just feel I'm coming out the other side. Single crochet. Single crochet. Make sure you're straight as best you can. Single crochet. Single crochet. I'm just going to pick up and slip stitch over there. And what it does is it gives its mouth an automatic shape. But if you don't get your line right, his mouth is like really, really wonky. But I thought it might be too complicated to do that for the tutorial, but I wanted to at least show you this option that you could do that, and it gives his mouth his shape instead of where we have to like really manhandle it. So give that option to you. And I'll have this inserted right before we do it, so you have this option, and then we'll go into the other one. All right, so here's our tail. I'm going to start it in the corner, and I'm going to start it right where it joins in here, in this hole here is where I'm going to start it. Now this is 24 single crochets, and so is this. So I'm just going to try and eyeball it. I'm not too particular just when I first start, because we have room if we make any mistakes. And so I'm going to go right where I knotted off, or next to it. It really isn't going to matter in here in the beginning. And I'm going to go in that hole, and I'm going to sew that on there. And then I'm just going to be fiddling with it for just a second, just to get it kind of have eyeballed that here's where I started, and here is its side. Like when I do a line, this is about the side. So I'm just trying to make sure that I try to line this up as best I can. This is probably the most fiddly part. And I'm going to whip stitch this. So here's the next one. Let's see, can I get you? Here's the next stitch. Go right here. I'm going to whip stitch that. And I'm going to try to line up the next one. Line up the next one. Line up the next one. And I am going under both loops. And then we're going to start turning a little bit. Next two. And that's what I'm going to be doing. So I'm still kind of eyeballing it. I'm going to just stretch it out a little bit. My stitches to show. Make sure I'm halfway straight. All right, so now let's get our polyfill and see what we can do here. I'll get in that bottom lip. Start getting in that bottom lip. And I'm just kind of getting under this, calling it the bottom lip. I don't know why, but let's see if I stuff this a little more firm. I have a couple that I didn't stuff real firm. See what happens if I do that. All right, I think I'm going to stop there because I'm getting carried away. Okay, so now we're on our last stretch. So I'm going to see here. I feel like I'm a bit dawdling on it. Okay. That doesn't look like Pac-Man, does it? All right, so let's pull that a little tight. And now I'm going to start squishing it. And I'm going to tie a knot. I'm going to pull it and I'm going to snip it. Now, that's a hot mess. So what I ended up having to do is I would just like manhandle it a little bit, get him to behave. Yeah. I don't hate that pink, actually. I really don't. And for him, I think he looks better with that on the bottom for this one. right, let's get his eyeballs. And the way I've been doing his, like right here in the middle, I'm basically just going right here, and I just eyeball it on each side. So here's this. I'm just going to put it like right here. So let me get that glued on real quick. And I'll meet you right back here. Okay, got his eyeball on. No light, I guess that's on the top. It's really just like I have to like squeeze him, get him to behave, and then he turns out exactly how I want him. It's funny, isn't it? Okay. Okie dokie. I actually think this turned out really good, and this is probably one of my better ones. Really like it, because this one was my favorite. So I hope you guys have a lot of fun making these. I really love these little ghosts. I think they turned out really cute. And I hope you can make a bunch like me and give them out or sell them or whatever you want to do with them. And I will get this edited and I'll get it up to you as soon as possible. And I look forward to seeing you guys next time. Take care. Bye.